So chances are you've encountered at least a few of these unfinished Nevrons in Expedition 33. Well, what if I told you they give some of the best rewards in the game and a massive bonus if you spare at least a few of them? Today I'm going to show you where to find them, how to help them, and what rewards they give. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So the first one you can encounter is unskippable. You're going to find the jar via a cutscene the moment you hit the abandoned expeditioner's camp right here in the Spring Meadows. He's going to tell you he needs an inflammable material to power up the torch, and luckily that's going to be pretty much in the next area you're going to go into anyway. So make your way over here in this blue zone and keep it to the right side up until you hit the bridge area. If you pay attention to your right, you should see a bunch of crates and barrels you can easily destroy to retrieve the resin. Once you get that, bring back the material to Jar and also power up his torch by shooting it once. The moment you do that, he's going to give you a healing tint, which is very useful, and I also suggest not to attack him whatsoever. We are going to need 6 of these to be alive to get 100 Power of Lumina very close by. For the second unfinished Nevron, you will need to travel to Flying Waters and go past Noko's Hunt in the early part of the map, all the way until you reach this jar that you can step inside of. And inside you're going to find this mine Nevron NPC that you can speak to that requires his lost mine. And luckily that's going to be very close by. To the right side, simply make use of some of these platforms to reach the other side hidden cavern over here that also holds the item in one of its corners. Once you got the mine, simply return to Deminure, give it in, and he's going to give you the Daminarim weapon for Lune. This is actually a pretty powerful option that starts at level 3, buffs up lightning damage, and also uses the lightning elemental, plus it has a very good luck scaling at this stage, so you can definitely make use of this as you progress in the game and level it up. Again, I don't recommend fighting with the NPC just yet, but if you do, eventually this is going to give you a bit of Power of Lumina and a catalyst to upgrade your weapon. I would say it's not worth it, at least not just yet. For the third unfinished Nevron, you will need to head over to the small Virgin Cave right here a bit southwest from the ancient sanctuary. So once you go over here, you're going to notice this smaller version of a Virgin that requires a special skin item from a larger one. And luckily, you can again find that also in map 2, Flying Waters, pretty much as you made your way towards the Lumiere streets. But before actually getting there, if you pay attention to some of the seaweed over here to your right, there is a small opening that leads to a fight against a tall Virgin. Once you defeat this, this is going to give you a Virgin skin, and this is exactly the flesh that you need to bring to that unfinished Nevron. So once you do have it, head over back to the small Virgin, give it in, and they will require a bit of resting time. But to reset the whole area, simply exit the map and go back from the continent, and this is then going to give you the large version that if you speak to, it's only going to give you a bit of color of Lumina. However, for now, that's going to be enough. Keep it alive and don't fight just yet. However, if you do want to fight and get some of the rewards, you are going to get color of Lumina times 5 and the polished chroma catalyst that lets you upgrade your weapon up to level 9. Again, not worth it, at least for now. For the fourth one, you're going to find it right here at the Stone Wave Cliffs. As you're making your way eventually to the Tide Caverns, eventually you should see the entrance, but right before it, to the left side, you should encounter Hexga stuck right here into the ground. So if you initiate the dialogue, it's going to tell you that it requires 3 rock crystals like every other similar Nevron in the area. And luckily you can find all of them in the cavern ahead. If you pay attention from the top side flag, you should see the first couple of them right here from the top, and there's a third one via an encounter right around here. So make your way at the bottom and you should find the first one via a crystal you can destroy right in front of you. This is going to give you the first rock crystal. From here, keep it to the right side past the water with the collapsed building, and you should see a small gap opening over here where you will get ambushed by this crystal enemy. If you defeat them, that's going to give you the second rock crystal. From this point on, make your way backtrack a little bit, and then head over up and then left again via this second gap opening where you will encounter the third and final crystal you can destroy. Once you have all 3 of the rocks, head over back to Hexga and give all of those in. This is going to cause it to emerge from the ground, which is also going to give you that reward. This Pictos right here that was beneath it all along. And this is going to be the auto shell, one of the best Pictos in the game. It applies shell for 3 turns on battle start. And let me tell you, Shell is one of the best buffs in the game because it pretty much avoids almost any source of damage. For the 5th Nevron, you're going to find it right here at the Stone Quarry. It's a little bit south accessible via a beach level right before the frozen mountain peaks. In this case, you're going to enter the area and just talk immediately to the Troubadour, which is going to give you a quick series of challenge. In this one, you basically have to teach them how to sing. So in this case, the only recommendation I have is to constantly let the green healing bubbles to hit you, but go ahead and parry everything else. It should take you no time, and this is basically what you get from them. The moment you finish that, you will also get access to the healing parry Pictos, which recovers 3% of your health whenever you parry, besides the fact that it gives you some very solid health and defense. For the 6th one, you're going to access this again via the continent in a place called Esoteric Ruins, pretty much next to Old Lumiere, so you can reach it around the same time. There's no combat involved, so you can go here right away. And the first moment you jump in the main arena, you're going to see this sort of ghastly apparition that doesn't really have a body, but it yearns something from nearby. And for that, you're going to need to complete another one of the puzzles, so make your way over here. And you're going to find one of these labyrinths. Now, there's not really any guide here I can give you besides the fact that you just need to navigate using some of these pedestals to eventually make your way to the opposite end. So trial and error, make your way over at the opposite end and exit the area. Once you do, you're going to encounter one of these special tree barks, or well, in this case, wood boards that you can find right by the collapsed structures. So once you got the pieces of wood, head over back to the same NPC, give it in, and you're going to get pretty much this Pictos right here called Protecting Heal. Healing an ally also applies Shell for 1 turn, plus it gives you some health and a lot of speed. So a very good option in the end game, especially if you're going with something that's extremely tanky and resilient. Like I said, Shell is a very good option. And if up until now you spared every single one of these 6 Nevrons, what you can do is make your way backtrack towards the beginning part of the continent in an area called the Fountain. It's likely that you can only access this if you have the power of flight for SQA, at least that was the case for me. But if you go inside, you can immediately go ahead and just talk to Blanche at the fountain, and they will recognize that every single one of the Nevrons up until now are pretty much alive. So as long as at least 6 of them are alive, what you're going to get from Blanche is essentially 100 Lumina power, which is absolutely insane. This means you can get so many Pictos active for literally any build. As you can see, Color of Lumina times 100 over here will make a huge difference and will significantly power boost you from this point on. I'm not entirely sure what happens if you defeat any of them. You can also challenge Blanche at a duel as well, but trust me, they are a very strong enemy to fight, so probably coming back later once you're at least level 50 or 60. But it doesn't stop here, we actually have a couple more, and the next one at number 8 is going to be Charlie A that you can find right here at the floating cemetery further up northwest on the continent. In this case, you can only access that via flying, as that's going to be on another floating island. So in this case, make your way towards the corpse pile where you will encounter Charlie A and initiate the conversation. He's going to ask you what weapon to choose. In this case, it doesn't matter. It's just going to make that NPC use that in the fight ahead. Once you do so, progress into the building nearby and just fight Charlie A for the next item. If you go ahead and successfully defeat him, this is going to give you this really interesting Pictos right here called Longer Shell. So when you apply Shell, this is going to extend its duration by 2 turns, which again is going to make it much better. Plus you have a bunch of other useful things in the area. And this brings us to our 9th and final unfinished Nevron that you're going to find right here at the Frozen Hearts, pretty much in the same Frozen Mountain area. You're going to want to go inside and progress up until at least the middle section of the map in a place called the Glacial Falls. You will even have a flag in the area to rest at. But in this case, once you are here, look behind the flag and backtrack a little bit all the way to this double set of stairs that will bring you up on the train platform. Simply backtrack from over here, which is going to bring you to a platform below with the danseuse and 3 of its followers. And you're going to have 2 challenges to complete right here. The first one is basically just like in the case of the Troubadour, to just parry perfectly all of its attacks. You don't even have to parry every single one of the attacks, as long as you just do a full sequence. that's going to be enough, and this is going to give you this really cool costume for Lune, yeah, which is basically called the Danseuse armor. And it looks really awesome, gives you the same theme as the boss. However, there is a second encounter you can follow with it. And if you go ahead and challenge it to a final dance, in this one you're going to fight against it, as well as another summon that it will bring in a fight. In this case, both will use the same sequence of attacks as in the first one, but they will occasionally also switch between ice and fire elementals, so be sure not to be countered or heal them with those. And also make sure that you also go in and parry at the right moment, plus also make use of the gradient, as that's also going to happen quite often. You will notice that they will jump, so you will want to time your gradient just as they are about to attack you. And if you do that successfully, you should defeat the dancer, and in this case, this is what you're going to get. Now, in my case, I got the following Pictos. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be random, but I got the Augmented Counter 3, which has a 75% increased counter attack damage. But I've seen other reports online of getting a different Pictos, such as the Burning Death, so I think that this is going to be random depending which one you got previously. I'm not sure if you already got both of them, what you're going to get, or if any of them will get upgraded. But that pretty much concludes today's video with all of the Nevrons. I also went ahead back at the fountain to see if I get anything else, if I also finished these other two. And no, it doesn't seem to be the case. You're still going to have the same dialogue with Blanche once you go to the fountain. But for now, this is pretty much it. Thanks much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.